Tess, are you at a mall?
I'm at the airport, actually. You should see my little setup. I'm sitting on my suitcase. We're making it happen. We're making it happen.
You know, yes, we are. And that's what I love about this. We're making it happen. Whatever it takes, right, Tess?
Whatever it takes, 100% of the time.
Exactly. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Please tell us in the chat where you're from. I'd love to hear. And know that we are being recorded and we will be available on our YouTube page later. So please do subscribe to our YouTube page. But look, Tess, we've got from Austin, we've got from Sherville, if I said it right, Patty, Maryland, we've got San Francisco in the house. Yes, San Fran, go. Scottsdale.
Hey, that's where I'm from. I'm in South Florida right now, but I'm from Scottsdale.
And we're going to talk about where you are at also, Tess. St. Louis, yes, welcome from beautiful, sunny Colorado. Wow, really nice. So we've got people from everywhere. Sonoma, see, all my Cali people are coming up, Tess. This is awesome because I've got Sharon from Alameda and I'm from East Bay, right here in Fremont. So we're all about social media down here, Tess, just so FYI, just so you know. Anyway,
I love it.
A lot of people coming in, so I'll let everyone come in. New Hampshire, there we go. Do we have any out of country, out of international people joining us? If they are, please do let us know. Anyway, I want to welcome our amazing, beautiful, just outstanding speaker today. Her name is Tessabella Jelton, and she is from, where are you from, Tess?
I am from Scottsdale, Arizona.
There we go, Arizona in the house. And I do want to tell you guys all about her. Oh, we've got Lisbon, Portugal. Yes.
Wow.
All the way
That's
from
amazing.
Portugal. Mafalda Duarte, welcome. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. Anyway, so let me talk to you guys a little bit about who Tessa is. Tessa owns a media agency. She's coached thousands of realtors and had tons of closings through organic social media. And this is what it's all about today. It's about Instagram and all about organic growth on social media, especially after, our COVID that happened last year. We all had to go hands-on on social. So please tell us a little bit more about, this beautiful world of social media and how we can grow our business on social.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Social media is so powerful.
And guys, yes, so sorry, but I love to interrupt people, just so you guys know. But Tess, tell us where you are at right now. Look how amazing this woman has. And I know she would do the same for you if you obviously were participating in her coaching programs. But look, tell us a little bit about where you're at right now, Tess.
I'll show you guys. I'm currently in the airport. I'm posted up because I wanted to be here. I wanted to share this information with you guys. So we're in the Miami airport. I'm going to get on a flight here in a little bit, but first and foremost, this is most important. So we're here to talk about Instagram. We're going to bring some good stuff today.
Thank you, Tess, for sharing that with us. And she's sitting on her bag, you guys, her luggage out of all places. So that is called true dedication, people. And that is what she's going to bring to your business. And let's roll it off right now. Tell us a little bit about organic growth and tell us a little bit about how you did it on social media all these years.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, my journey in real estate began when I was 18. I was 18 years old. I wanted to flip houses. I had just moved down to Arizona from Oregon, and I had a whole lot of no money to my name. In fact, my bank account was negative at the time, but luckily I learned about other people's money and leveraging things like that to get into real estate investing. So I began flipping houses in Central Phoenix in the historic neighborhoods. And the whole time I just thought, okay, well, I'm starting from ground zero, below ground zero. So why not document the entire process? Show people exactly what I do, exactly how I do it the entire time, and just be super raw, real, and honest about it. So that's exactly what I did. I just documented the whole process. and put everything out on social media. I was live on Facebook. I was posting it on Instagram. This was before Instagram had stories, but once the stories came around, I started sharing Instagram stories all the time. And I just wanted to document the process. And through that, we were able to leverage that amount of reach to get in the front of a lot of people. That generated tons of organic business for me. It allowed us to be the official real estate partner of the NBA's Phoenix Suns. It put us in the rooms and in these conversations to make conversation with and work with people who are on these TV shows, these real estate TV shows, like on Bravo and HGTV and Netflix. All of those are now people that we get to work with because of documenting. Like, it was getting noticed, getting in front of people, and that's really what did it.
And that's what I was about to say also and mention as well, is that you've worked with celebrities, you've worked with, Bravo celebrities, as well as, HGTV celebrities. And they found you all through your organic growth, correct? And what you
Absolutely.
Yeah. And main thing, step number one, obviously, whatever you do, document yourself, show yourself out. Don't be that shy agent, or don't be, that agent that doesn't put herself or himself out there. Let people know what you do best, correct?
Yes, it's that saying that they say, don't be a secret agent.
Exactly.
The same thing applies here. You want to be loud with what it is that you're doing. And I think a lot of people think that before they start showing up on social media, before they start doing all the marketing, they have to have it all figured out. They have to have accomplished a certain amount, have this certain thing, have this figured out. The reality is, people love humans. They love when you are humanizing the process, documenting it, and just showing what you're doing. So I think we need to get out of our own ways. That's kind of the first principle, is not disqualifying yourself before you've started. Just get out there and start doing it. Don't compare yourself to somebody else's journey, because everybody has something valuable to add and something really awesome to share with the community.
And tell us a little bit about how you started. I mean, what was your first Insta story, or what was your first live that you did? Do you remember far back then?
Oh my gosh, do I ever? So first of all, with the lives, I, believe it or not, you maybe won't believe it because now I'm on camera all day, every day, but I used to be like cripplingly afraid to get on a video. I had the worst social anxiety. I could never get on a video. I could hardly be in a room with other people without having just an absolute panic attack. And so I thought, okay, well, I know I have to get past this. I know I'm going to have to release these fears and get beyond that. And the best way to do it is to just, in my opinion, throw yourself in the deep end. So I committed to going live on Facebook every single day. And that was back in, I don't know, maybe 2014 or so. I started just getting on Facebook Live every day. Sometimes it was for 2 minutes. Sometimes it was for 30 minutes. Sometimes I had a really great topic that I was sharing about. And some days I was just jumping on and saying, hey, I went and checked on this project today. This was falling apart. This was happening here. All kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah. And I was just showing up. That was the most important principle, was consistency, showing up, showing up, showing up. And soon enough, it became comfortable. It became something that you can get on video without fear. Do I still trip over my words sometimes? Absolutely. Do I still totally forget what I was going to say when the camera turns on sometimes? Absolutely. Those things are never going to completely go away, but you get comfortable with it, especially when you start treating it just like a conversation. When I get on my Instagram story, I'm talking to someone. I'm talking to my audience, and I'm picturing that person and those people who make up my community. And I literally treat it very conversationally. It's the same thing I would say to my best friend in a group text message, is exactly the way that I'm showing up on social media, so that I can allow people to really connect with me and build that transparency.
Okay, I think you hit it right there. I was the same, where I used to freak out. Now, I know Sandra and Jake and all of them know this, is that the first time I ever did a webinar I was freezing, and I didn't have the words to say, but repetitive makes you perfect, and I'm sure you guys know that. So you did it repeatedly, and you perfected your skill. And even now, there are times when we're fumbling, but our audience don't know whether you're messing up or not. So you in your mind know you're messing up, but your audience doesn't know that. So
I love this saying, instead of practice makes perfect, practice makes progress. And that's all we really need, is we need progress every day. And you're going to continue to evolve. You're going to continue to get better. It will get easier with more and more practice. So practice makes progress.
Progress. There we go. Hallelujah on that one. Tell me a little bit about, what topics did you talk about? Did you just randomly, like you just mentioned, you randomly just talked? But sometimes some people need scripts. Do you suggest just to kind of script it out a little bit? And where did you get your information from? Like, were you just naturally doing it on your own because that was the day that you were having? Like a
Yeah.
when you go on a showing appointment and share that, like, hey guys, here I am at a showing appointment, blah, 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 not necessarily flipping, but us as realtors, we do flipping, we do more than that, right? So every
Yeah.
flip is what you documented.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it would be kind of a combination. From time to time, when I was going to share on a specific topic, let's say I'm going to go live and I'm going to give 3 tips on how to boost your credit score when you're looking to purchase this year. Then, of course, I'm going to include some bullet points for myself and kind of have a little bit of a structure. But a lot of times my content policy and what I like to do with my content on social media is I incorporate 5 elements of myself and my business. So I'm not just always talking about business, but I also want to talk about my dog who I love and the sports that I like to watch and play and the activities that I like to do beyond real estate so that people can now understand who I am as a person. Because I'm going to help you through a transaction. We need to know that I know all the things about real estate and how to be that most effective, most efficient person guiding you through an investment. But at the same time, through that process, we're going to become friends. You're going to spend a lot of time talking to me and with me, whether you like it or not. So you want to know if I'm going to drive you freaking crazy or if we're going to be able to have a connection, because that makes the whole process that much more enjoyable for everyone involved. So
Right.
for that reason, I make sure that the other things and the other pieces of content that I'm sharing, it's also about myself. It's the other pieces that make me who I am. So some days I would jump on and it's my dog barking in the background and I'm just giving a little life update, and that's just how I would kind of break it down.
Okay, so mix and match, right? I mean, talk about business, talk about real estate, talk about your personal life, talk about what's going on around you, where you're going to eat, or even do something. I mean, there's so much content out there. You can copy and paste that content, correct? You don't necessarily have to invent all the time. So tell us a little bit.
100%. I always tell people too, use resources. Keeping Current Matters is like the coolest blog. That's a great resource. I'm sure most people are familiar with. You can go on there, read some of their articles and use that as pieces of your content. And the best thing to do whenever you're like drawing inspiration from other resources or you're passing along some of that information is to ask yourself the question. And this is a great way to approach all of your content, is put yourself in the consumer's shoes. Imagine that you're the one viewing it and think, okay, what does this mean for me? So when I'm sharing a piece of knowledge, a resource, something like that, and I'm saying, hey, I just read this great article about 3 ways to boost your credit if you want to purchase a property this year. Here's reason 1, 2, and 3. So what does that mean for you? Well, if you're in this situation right now, it means X, Y, Z. If you're in this situation, it means X, Y, Z. Break it down for them, because that's our job and our role as an advisor in real estate, is that you get to basically break it down for them and be that liaison between the information that's put out there and how it applies to them. You bridge that gap of helping them understand how it can benefit them, how it can affect them, how it can hurt them, and how you're going to help them navigate that. So that's the best way to do it. But of course, use your resources. Yeah.
That is amazing. Thank you for tip number 2, resources, right? Find yourself some resources such as Keeping Current Matters. You've got realtor.com. You've got so many other different resources as well out there. So we've got a real quick question from Tiffany. She says, so each video was about real estate and 5 things about herself, ? Or 1 about real estate and then 5 about personal, 1-to-5 ratio? That's a great question.
That is a great question. I don't necessarily have a specific way I break it down. There's a lot of people that say it's like a 80-20 split or a 30-70 split. I think it's about finding what your audience relates and responds to. What I am meaning by having these 5 elements of me and my business is maybe that looks like working with buyers, working with investors, interior design that could tap onto both personal and business. Maybe it's my fitness journey. Maybe it's my personal development journey, whatever those elements are that make up your day-to-day. It's essentially a snapshot into what you do every day. it's not all business all the time. When you wake up and you go to the gym first, you're doing something else. So allow the world kind of to peek in on that. And then as you get good at it, as you kind of get comfortable with content, there's also ways that you can integrate it all together. It doesn't have to be this super black and white hard line between personal and business. So I gave the example just yesterday, actually, at an event of, imagine that you're a parent, you're driving the car, you've got your kid next to you, and you're on your way to take her to school. And then all of a sudden she looks down and she goes, "Bleh," and just throws up on herself. I'm sure people have experienced something like that happening. Well, it's very comparable to sometimes what we experience in the real estate market. You have a deal that's driving along, it's going straight for a closing, you can't wait to collect your commission, and then everyone just throws up on themselves, and now this deal is up in flames and you don't know which way is up. So you could take life experiences and things that actually happen to you in a day-to-day and relate it back to your business. Say, hey, this happened today, real, super real parent moment. This is what happened this morning. And it reminded me of some of the real estate deals that I've been able to navigate for my clients, helping them get through that finish line, no matter what's going on, no matter what goes up in flames. And now I've just taken a glimpse at my personal life and turned that into a business as well. I've been able to take how I handled that and relate it back to the way that I handle my clients with that same degree of care. That's just one example, but they don't have to be two super separate things. Sometimes you can blend them together in a really cool way.
That is just an amazing example, right? I mean, take an example that is personal and put it into your business, and that will, you know, kind of mush it out together and make it like, listen, real estate does have their challenges. We do have our challenges day to day. There's no perfect deal out there, right? To make it more personal. So here's, yes, Sharon, this is recorded. Do you, oh, her question is, do you go live or record it? Sorry about that. Do you go live or do you record these videos that you do? I think I know.
That's so funny. I read that the same way that you did. I thought she was asking if it was recorded too, but that's a great question.
Live on our YouTube page as well, LabCoatAgents. Yeah. But go ahead.
Okay. I like to do a combination of both. Live gets a lot of great engagement. It's a great way to boost up your account. And then you can save that video and publish it for something to be evergreen as well. But a lot of times I will take a weekend or a day during the week and I'll record a bunch of different videos and I'll cut it down. I'll clip it into little segments. I'll be able to share that multiple different times so that I have a lot of content. I'm a huge fan of like batching things, making the most of my time, repurposing content so that I don't have to spend hours and hours crafting one simple post. I want to make sure that I'm making the most of my time.
Okay.
And that I'm really able to capitalize on the content that I'm putting out there.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That is great to hear, Tess. You know, here's another question. Let's talk a little bit about hashtags, right? A lot of people talk about hashtags and a lot of people say, well, I need to know what kind of hashtags do you put out there on your videos? Or is there certain, do you use certain kind of, you know, sentences, or what really gets views on your videos? How do you get people to view your video? Talk to us a little bit about that, Tess.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a big piece is reciprocation. So when you want people to be commenting and engaging with your stuff, go out there and start first. Search through different hashtags of what your ideal client might be engaging with and connecting with. Spend time engaging with those people, and now you're going to be put in front of them more frequently. I like to think about it like this. Imagine that a stranger walks up to your door, knocks on the door and says, hey, can I come in? You're probably like, not so much. I don't love that idea. But if somebody walks up to your front door, it's your best friend and a stranger, and they say, hey, can we come in? Then you're probably more likely to allow them to come into your home and into your sphere. And the same thing is true with your social media. When you put yourself in proximity with people who have mutual followers, you're going to have a much easier time getting seen by them. So like Instagram Reels, they're going to start showing it to the people who follow you. So it's kind of that ripple effect that works really well.
That is awesome. I love that, the ripple effect, right? People who like what you have to say. It has to be real content, and that's why Tess even mentioned keeping current matters. One of the resources that she uses. So when you have that great content, people will start saying, oh, I want to see that. I want to hear that. I want to hear what she has to say. And that's the curiosity that'll build up in their minds. Here's a question from Tiffany again. Suggested video length. What do you suggest a video length to be? And earlier you said it could be 2 minutes, it could be up to 30 minutes. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I like to keep content pretty short and easy to digest. Don't add in a bunch of extra fluff if there's not value there. So I say this one saying all the time, and I'll repeat it here for you guys, and that's that frequency without relevance is simply annoyance. So it can be as long as you want it to be if that's packed with value. So if you're making a 15, 20-minute video, every single minute, or at least the majority of those 15 or 20 minutes, should be something that someone can get value from. So whether that's a home tour or you're sitting there giving them information, you want to make sure that it's relevant to them. If not, and you're just sitting there kind of like twiddling your thumbs and messing around, then it's not going to be providing value. So in that case, cut it down to something simple. Just deliver the value, deliver that package, and then close it out. So for me, I typically like to shoot for pretty small videos. I love like a good 60 to 90 second video. As long as I can get my message across, tends to be the most powerful for me. But I think there's a time and place for each.
So I guess something like this. I'm going to share with you I'm giving you an example. Please tell me if I'm wrong. I'm doing this live. I can't believe it. Something like this, Tess. Okay, here, role play with me. Here are 3 things that I'm going to share with you today on Tessa's videos, on Tessa's live video that we did on Instagram. 1, keep your videos to 2 to 30 minutes. And if it's relevant content, keep it to more short and sweet. Number 2, hashtags really don't matter. And once you have followers, it'll automatically, once you have people who want to invite other people in, that would be, I don't know, I'm just BSing through this, but I'm just trying to do 1, 2, 3 step. Help me out here, Jess. But I get it. I get what you're trying to say is that
exactly.
There you go. I'm freezing up. Why? Because I don't know my content. Know your material, know your content. Don't BS through it.
There was a lot of lessons there. I love it. No, that was awesome.
So something simple, something sweet, make it to the point, and make sure that your audience are listening to you, and sometimes you want to make it fun too, right, Tess?
Yeah, I always say I like to work off of 3 E's. So first E is education. Obviously, you're never going to lose when you're providing value, when you're coaching, when you're teaching something. And as agents, you have so much knowledge and so much information about the real estate market, the industry, that you should be constantly putting that out there. Not only is it establishing you as like a subject matter expert, but it's also something that they can take and apply to themselves, their lives, or their journey with real estate. The second E is entertainment. Entertainment goes such a long way. People want something that's going to break through the noise, interrupt their scroll. Why do you think reality TV is so popular? Because people love it. They're so entertained by the littlest things. And even the things that you might not think is entertaining or valuable for someone to see, a lot of times it is. And then that third E is emotion. Eliciting emotion from people is so powerful. That can be happy emotions. That can be hopeful emotions. It can be heart-wrenching emotions, sharing your own story of real estate, or if you've ever lost a property or you lost on an investment, sharing that and telling them why that motivated you to help them never experience that, to make things protected and safe and easy for them because you experienced it. Right. Something like that taps into their emotions and makes them think, oh my gosh, that's the person who's going to help me get through XYZ. And that's how you become the one. You want to be the one they think of whenever anything happens, whenever they need a resource, or whenever they need to navigate a real estate transaction or situation.
Which I love what you just said. I mean, look at the value that you're providing. 3 E's, how long, the length of the videos, practice makes progress. I'm writing like crazy. I'm like jotting everything down because I know I'll be, tapping your brain pretty soon, picking on your brain pretty soon. Tiffany has another question. Do you see the value in TikTok or YouTube, or does she stick to Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah, that is a good question. Here's what I'll say on that. I think that it's important to choose the channels that work best for you and that are going to put you in front of the audience that is your ideal client. So that's going to look different for everyone. But what I will say is don't try to be everywhere all at once. Shoot first to master 1 or 2 platforms and stay consistent, show up well, create valuable content. And if you've mastered that and that's easy and that's like done like the back of your hand, then move on to something else and incorporate another piece there. But I always say this, it's to start from where you are with what you have. So if you're just starting on social media, you aren't present on any platform, don't go out and try to be on TikTok, Snapchat, doing the dances, doing Facebook, doing all those things at once. Focus on one place or two places and get really, really clear with your strategy, with your audience, and staying consistent in those two pieces.
So here's where I'm going to pick Tessa's brain, you guys, for you. I'm going to ask her a question. Tess, you ready for this?
I am ready.
Okay, great. So if you guys are really high out there, not high, but if you guys are really out there, if you guys are really out there to where you're really popular on Facebook and you've got tons of friends out there, Tess, what do you recommend? Because I know I've got around 5,000 friends on Facebook, and I don't do Facebook Lives as often as I did before. I do a lot of these webinars, but now that I have not perfected the game of Facebook, but I want to do more live videos on it. And when I do, of course, I get a lot of views. Some of us are probably very up there on Facebook, and we do a lot of live videos. Where do you recommend going next? Do you recommend going on Instagram? Do you recommend going on YouTube? What should my second master be?
I think Instagram is where it's at. There is still so much opportunity there. There is still a lot of untapped potential on Instagram. And it is one of the best ways, especially if you do have an audience on Facebook, to transfer and try to kind of redirect some of that traffic over there and then activate them in a new way. They're going to see different kinds of content in a similar format to what they're used to. And they're going to be able to kind of deepen that connection with you, particularly if they've already seen you on Facebook, whether it was in a professional light or in a personal light. You can bring them to Instagram and start kind of adding layers to how they recognize you and how you show up for them.
That is an excellent point right there, Tess. Thank you for that. And another thing I wanted to talk to you, another question I wanted to ask you is that so now that transitioning into Instagram, right? Because that is up and happening. Would you recommend doing live Instagrams, or would you just say, okay, just post on your stories and try to get followers with hashtags? What is the best way to do this?
I think it's important to have a combination of content. I tell everyone you need to be on your stories as much as possible. Like getting on your stories, I always say it is my own personal reality TV show. That's my corner of the internet. I'm documenting this, I'm documenting that. The stories are really where it's at, and you can engage people pretty easily on there. Lives, however, do a great job of letting your audience know what you're doing. I love to kind of incorporate those as a bit of a combination, but a live video is a very different format. You're going to have people actively engaging on there. You're going to need to have a little bit of an approach to it before you just jump in and dive in. So I definitely suggest that you get comfortable conditioning yourself on your Instagram story, because it's a 15-second clip. It's not too long. If you mess it up, you can delete it and do it again. So start doing the stories, and then once you feel a little bit of confidence in showing up there, get on your live video.
Awesome. Tess, tell us a little bit about the best way to get a hold of yourself, and how do we sign up for your coaching program? Because I know one of them is me right here. I need to get my Insta stories going. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I love it. The best place to connect with me is on Instagram. Here's one thing about me that you'll always see is that I practice what I preach. So anything that I tell somebody to do or that I coach on is exactly what I do and practice. So either whether it's just consuming the content I put out, you're going to absorb the lessons that I'm sharing. But I do come on there and post these long form videos and these trainings, these mini trainings all over my Instagram. That stuff is all free. And then if you want to work with me more on like either a done for you side, so we do social media management within my agency, we'll do all of that stuff for you. We can connect and talk about that in the DMs, or I can just help with some of the guidance and coaching. There's two pieces to it, whether you do it yourself or we do it for you. So that's kind of the best way, is find me on Instagram and let's chat there.
Love it, love it, love it. I can't wait. Okay, a couple more questions heading your way. I know we need to wrap this up. To build your Instagram following, how often should we post on stories?
Ooh, great question. I suggest never not having an Instagram story. So try to, at the very minimum, have one thing on your story every single day. I loosely try to follow a format of posting about one Instagram story every hour or so. But for me, honestly, it's such second nature at this point that I'm just documenting everything as I go throughout my day. I don't even have to think about it anymore because I'm just so used to doing it. Right. But as you're getting started, try to set up kind of a schedule that you'll check in a couple times throughout the day. At the very minimum, at least have that one on there all the time.
Can you just put your handle right here so we know how to get a hold of you and talk to you. Roger, there are a couple of questions coming in. So Roger says, do you recommend paid ads on Insta, and how do you tailor the audience?
Yes, if you're going to do any paid advertising, you'll do it through the Facebook Ads Manager, and you can make sure that it shows up on Instagram. You can even set it to show just on Instagram, but I wouldn't suggest doing any of the paid stuff through Instagram's platform, just because it's kind of comparable to like boosting a post on Facebook. It's not going to do a whole heck of a lot for you. Rather than kind of burning through your budget. So if you're going to do it, definitely set it up through an ads manager and make sure that you have a compelling offer. My best performing kind of paid media, both on Instagram and Facebook, has always been offering some sort of lead magnet, some sort of valuable thing, whether that's a video they can watch, a mini training, a mini course, maybe it's a download, it's a free buyer's guide, it's a credit repair guide. It's some sort of tangible thing that they get to have. People love to opt in and get something, and as a result, you've captured them. You now have their name, email, phone number, whatever it is that you put on that opt-in. That's typically my top performing ads, and as a result, you also get followers and more engagement as well.
That is amazing, Tess. That is so awesome. Like, I mean, do something or the other, like offer them, courses of guidance, give them. I always say, come from contribution, right? And then watch what happens after that. That is so awesome. So
yeah, I say givers gain mentality. The more I give, the more I gain.
Exactly. So when you give, you gain, you're building up that relationship, and our business is all about relationship at the end of the day, right, Tess? So I love that. I know you got to get going because you are at an airport. Your flight is about to take off and you're off to, where are you off to, Tess? I have no idea.
I'm off to Atlanta and then back to Arizona.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing. So Karen, we did put her IG handle right there for you to check her out. And anything else, any other questions coming in, please? We've got about 4 or 5 minutes. If you guys have any other questions for Tessabella, please do let us know right here. Other than that, I do want to let her go because I know she's ready to fly off. Have safe travels, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and any other questions as they come through, if anyone's watching the replay or anything, you can always shoot me a message on Instagram. That is something I commit to, is that I personally respond to all those messages. It's not a VA, it's not an assistant, it's nothing like that. It's me in there engaging with them and answering those questions. So if you have them, come and ask, and I'm happy to answer them. Or in the Facebook group, I spend time in there as well on LabCoatAgents. So drop those questions and I'll be sure to get to them.
Absolutely. Tessa is not hard to find. She is a public speaker. She's a public person. So you can definitely get a hold of her. And like she said, she doesn't have a VA to where she is having someone else answer it. She herself is answering all the questions, and her IG handle is at Tessabella A. That is amazing. To really get to kind of dig your brain a little bit, I know we got to get going. So if you guys have any further questions, like she said, please do ask her, DM her, and she'll be more than happy. Everyone says thank you. This is very knowledgeable and to the point. We rocked it. 35 minutes into it. I know I got to let you go. I just wish I didn't have to, but thank you so much, Tess, for your time, for your knowledge, for everything that you did. Everyone says this is great. We should do this again some other time, Tess.
Oh, we will absolutely do it again. You could get me started talking about Instagram and social media and marketing, and I could talk for 8 hours straight. So there's no shortage of what we can share.
Yeah, let's do like a mini conference inside LCA. Just having you there and kind of digging your brain into kind of putting this whole thing together. I think we'll rock it for that. So thank you. Safe journey.
I love it. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Talk to you soon. Bye, love. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.